Hey, everybody. CBP Connects Portland, Maine will be here before we know it. Literally happening June 10, 11, and 12. Beautiful Portland, Maine. I said it in the last conversation we had yesterday. Don't show up on the West Coast. You'll be in the wrong Portland. But we encourage you to come to Portland, Maine for CBP Connects this June 10, 11, 12. We've got 14 interactive sessions, 3 nightly receptions, a trade show, lunch, coffee, hundreds of crappy professionals from all across the country coming together to learn. I know I can't wait. But today we're here joined by several people who will be coming, well, most of them, to Portland in just a few weeks. So, Aaron, could you tell everybody a little bit about what you do in the world of beer?
Oh, that is a much broader question than
however you like to position it for this audience.
I am Aaron Gore. I'm the Director of Partnerships and Community for Arryved, and we are the ones sponsoring this whole shindig. So if you have a wonderful time, that is entirely on us. And if you have a terrible time, it's entirely on Andrew. Andrew, not PK. PK is great. PK is great. But outside of that, been around the industry for a long time. Been fortunate enough to meet so many of you. Looking forward to meeting that many more up in Maine. And I think I hold the record for most appearances on live video for Craft Beer Professional.
I think you might have passed Julie Rose, and PK is probably about the same as you, though. I will say
it's close. I was about to say they were the two who popped into my mind as well. But I've already taken up way more time than I should. So hi, PK.
Hi, Aaron. Thanks for passing the buck over to me. Hi, everyone. My name is Pulkit Agrawal, also go by PK. I'm the founder and CEO of Beer 30 by the Fifth Ingredient. Beer 30 is a brewery data management software system that you can use to track everything from raw materials, brewing process, lab quality, sales, accounting, future demand planning. We've been a CBP partner since COVID 2020 and super pumped for CBP Connects and just the opportunity to hang out, meet more people, get really ingrained into the Portland, Maine industry, not Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine industry, and visit some of our customers. Rising Tide is a really awesome client of ours, and I know the reception is there one of the nights. So it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to CBP Connects.
And Pulkit, you unfortunately won't be at this one, correct?
I will not be in this one. I will be on a family trip in Europe at that point. The 2.5 weeks that I take off all year. So good timing, and we'll have 2 other team members, John Phillips, our sales director, and Dan Galvani, our account executive in Maine out there.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I can't wait to hear about your European trip. It's probably going to be a blast, and we appreciate you and Beer 30 for all the support. And Aaron, you and Arryved have been with CBP since the early days. I remember when I first connected when there was only maybe 7 or 8 people on the team. So it's been impressive to watch your growth, PK, your growth, and appreciate you both.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andrew, for having us.
No, we love you, Andrew.
Your turn, Andy. You're coming all the way from Minneapolis to join us.
Yep, coming from Minneapolis, owner and founder of a brewery called Forgotten Star Brewing here in Fridley. We actually hosted Arryved's party back a couple of years ago when there was another convention in town. It was a great party. Going to be there in Maine. Really excited about it. Me and Matt Schwant, owner of Bauhaus Brewing, are going to be talking about culture and leadership in the brewing industry, really from the ownership and general manager's perspective. As well as financial literacy and all sorts of fun things like that. But that's where we found we get to provide a lot of value, is to talk to other brewery owners who are in the seat, wearing the heavy hat of an owner-operator and helping them really navigate the waters ahead. So really looking forward to it and looking forward to meeting all of you.
I'm pumped for your talk, and I know after our call a few months ago, you recommended I get the Culture Climb. It's been on my desk. I have a massive list of recommendations people have given me. I'm close to starting it. We'll say that, and I can't wait to kind of learn more at your talk.
Sounds good.
Cool. Heather, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, so I'm Heather Holland. I'm the owner of Outland Farm Brewery in Pittsfield, Maine. So I am a Maine brewer on brewery and farm. I'm super excited that you guys are coming to the state, making my travel a little shorter. Been heavily involved in the industry here for about a decade in the state of Maine, constantly just looking for ways to stay on top of the industry, ways to innovate, and everything in such a changing climate. So really excited to just spend 3 days kind of down networking and learning down there in Portland with you guys. So.
And I know quite a few people are going to be spending a little extra time in Maine. I've never been. I know some other people are kind of tacking on some time before or after. Tell us a little bit more about your space, because it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so we are, thank you. We're exit 150 up 95. So it's about an hour and 20 minutes north of where we'll be having this event. But we're really dedicated to local Maine agriculture. So all of our beers are made with Maine grown malts. Most of them are hops as well from the state of Maine. So most of our beer is 95+% Maine grown, outdoor tap room, patio area with a rotating farm to table menu. I'm also your farmer for most of that meat, with our other products coming as local as possible. So, yeah.
Excited to learn more in Portland. Thanks again for being here today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, Matt with River Drive Cooperage. I believe you're on the call now. Can you hear us loud and clear? I know Matt is en route somewhere, so we might just move past that. But there we go.
I got it. Sorry, I was the other side of the building with my phone away from my phone, so I heard you when I started sprinting. So don't mind the intermittent cries that you may hear.
I see a few barrels behind you, Matt. For everyone who hasn't learned what you do or seen you talk before, what do you do in beer?
All right. So first off, you're going to have to excuse me, because half the reason why I'm presenting or helping present the panel on turning a brewery into a distillery, pardon me, is I'm a man of many hats. So when I'm not being a full-time firefighter, paramedic, running an Airbnb in beautiful Maine, and a dad, and a good husband, at least I think so, I'm also working full-time with River Drive Cooperage.
And Matt, I think your audio might have went out. You're good at a lot of things, but keeping your audio on is not
specialty. I know. No, my phone rang. I'm on my phone and it rang as I was trying to talk to you guys. So anyway, we buy, sell, repair, recondition, and recycle barrels to and from the breweries, wineries, and distilleries. The reason I'm a mess right now is I'm trying to get this little guy, our newest addition to the cooperage, in his crate so I can go. So we specialize mostly in aging, oak aging, wood aging, barrels or barrels alternatives. And we work with a lot of breweries all around the world, and it's a really cool project, aging programs. We really like to specialize beyond bourbon, which sounds like something catchy I should probably trademark. So we have a really wide variety of barrels to really kind of help brewers, broaden their horizons when it comes to different profiles, flavors, and stuff like that in their aging programs.
Well, Matt, I know I've known you quite a few years, and I'm honestly so pumped to come see you in, well, not your home state, but where you live, where your family is, where you have your business. So it's going to be great.
Hey, it's officially been my home for a minimum of half my life, if not more. So who's counting?
Love it. So Heather and Matt, we had a call the other day getting excited for this, but no one really had been to Maine before. So I know a lot of people are very excited to come up to Portland and explore. What do we need to know about coming to your beautiful state? I'd love to hear kind of any personal recommendations, must-dos, things we shouldn't do, anything we should be aware of. Give us Maine in 1 minute, of course. That's
I would say
no pressure.
Be a tourist. Eat the lobster, eat as much lobster as you can. Yes, it is absolutely worth it. I don't care if you've had lobster elsewhere. I grew up in Connecticut eating lobster. I came to Maine and the lobster was completely different. I can't even eat lobster anywhere but Maine right now. So enjoy, like I said, be a tourist, soak it in. The touristy stuff is the cool stuff in Maine. And eat your heart out and explore the beer. It is good beer. And it took me a little while in this industry, traveling to a lot of places, to have a very quite biased opinion that Maine beer, by all means, is absolutely fantastic.
So you mentioned tourist attractions. Oh, sorry, Heather.
I was going to say the same thing. Be a tourist, get out there, do those things that you might not ever get to do. Go see a lighthouse, or if you have time and you want to see a mountain and go hiking, ask one of us where to go. We'll get you where you want to go. If you want to go fly fishing, we've got people who can teach you fly fishing. I think it's just about striper time. You might not catch one, but it's striper time. So that's kind of a really big deal here. And the same with Matt. I grew up in Connecticut eating those lobsters, and now I'm up here, and it was totally different. And being here a decade, I think Maine has me sold finally that this is the place. But it took a little while. So yeah, go out and do those touristy things. Portland itself, any type of food you want, and beer. The beer is so good. You have great cocktail bars, all of these things. When I go to Portland, I am a tourist myself. I get all that food that I can't get in central Maine. So you'll catch me eating all the lobster, all the tacos, oysters, all those things. So just come hungry and thirsty. That's really what Portland is best for.
So we're going to eat a lot of delicious food. We're going to have a bunch of amazing drinks. When you talk attractions to visit, you mentioned the lighthouse. Are there any specific other ones we should put on our to-do list?
Really,
Portland
whatever you want to do.
Headlight.
Yeah.
I would just say Portland Headlight, which is only 15, 20 minutes from where the venue is, where we're going to be, in Cape Elizabeth. That is the most photographed and popular headlight, I believe, in the world.
Are you saying headlight?
Portland Headlight. Yep, like a car's headlight.
And
it's located in Cape Elizabeth.
I love the recommendation. Come to Maine. We have cars.
I think we're all Googling this right now. Portland Headlight. Is that the name of the lighthouse?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so it is a lighthouse and not a headlight for a car that is just sitting there for people to...
No. But yeah, sorry if I broke up. Portland Headlight is in Cape Elizabeth, and it is, like I said, it is the most photographed lighthouse in the world. So it's quite literally one of the most popular lighthouses in the world, and it's only 15 minutes away from where we're going to be.
Nice.
Can't wait to take a picture of it. So Heather, as we head up a little more northern, your neck of the woods, into the other parts of Maine, any things people should consider adding to their list?
I mean, my area, we're really big on the rivers and the waterways up here. I'm not in the mountains and I'm not on the coast. So the coast, you're going to hit all those lighthouses and all those things. And then further up for me, or towards, some of the lakes and Western Maine, you have beautiful mountains, beautiful hikes, waterfalls. I mean, if that's your thing, there can be recommendations towards that. But like I said, I'm the one up here who's kind of hitting the waterways, hitting those things, picking up early fishing season, those things. I might even try to, while I'm down there, see if I can't do some fly fishing for some striper. But we'll see.
I love the energy. Now, Andy, a couple of years ago, as we mentioned, you're in Minneapolis. You hosted an awesome party. I don't even know how many people were there. That place was packed. We smashed cars. We drank lots of delicious beer. It was a beautiful day. But, being in the place where a conference takes place is tough sometimes. I'm sure you were working your butt off during that week. Now you get to come to Portland, Maine and not work. You don't have to worry about your taproom and how your staff's doing and your own parties. Why are you excited to come to CBP Connects Portland?
Well, I get to let what's left of my hair down a little bit, which is nice. No, I'm just really excited.
You on that, buddy.
Yeah, I hear you. Just excited to get into a new part of the country. I've never been. Using beer as an excuse to go travel has always been a goal of why I want to be in this industry in the first place. Learning from other great professionals in this industry is super important to me. Part of what Matt and I's talk is while the brewery industry is super collaborative and very helpful to one another, we're only that way until we're not. And we really, really, really need to start opening up a little more to one another and leaning on one another a little more. And being part of intimate groups like this is a big piece of that to me. So really just an opportunity to be around people, to be vulnerable with business, because we don't always have to wear this really heavy crown by ourselves. We're really all in this together, and having an open, honest conversation, maybe out of your neighborhood, is a nice thing to do. So I'm as much as I am looking forward to speak, I'm really looking forward to connect and learn, and all of the above.
I think we should just end this conversation right there. That's why you should come to CBP Connects, because honestly, that's what people get from it. You come, you're going to connect with people just like you from all across the country, because sometimes you might not share your deepest, darkest secrets and strategies with your neighbor, but it's good to learn and just see what other people are experiencing in different parts of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait. Now, Aaron, you came to one in Charleston, South Carolina, so this will be number 2 for you, correct?
This will be number 2 for me, and I'll also be doing the one following this, and probably all of them from that point forward.
Which is fantastic. But for this one, being at one before, what are your goals for this one, and why are you excited?
Yeah, so the goals, honestly, coming to any of these are twofold, and it's the same for all the conferences that I go to. I on pace to do, I think, 26 conferences this year. This is a huge part of what I do for my day job. But in any of these conferences, the biggest thing, obviously, is to be able to scout out what kind of goods and services and products that you have available to you as an owner. But if we're being honest, a lot of that is stuff you could figure out with a Google search. The real value is being able to learn from your peers and be able to learn from the people who are going through so many of the same things that you are. So easy, especially when the industry is starting to flatten a little bit, is starting to have to mature, to really turtle up and go into survive mode instead of thrive mode. But at the end of the day, we still make up 14% of the market share of the entire beer industry. A fraction of beverage alcohol, and a tiny, tiny fraction of all the ways that people can spend their money on entertainment and community. So, we are not each other's competition. We are each other's best resource. So by being able to be in a space and share that space with other people who have gone through so many similar things, people who have been there before, people who have learned the hard way in some cases, what does work, what does not work, that is ways that we are able to learn without necessarily having to take those same L's and without having to make those same challenges and make those same bad decisions. But moreover than that, it's just being able to get around people who understand what we are going through. As a brewery owner, as someone working in this industry, it can be isolating. It can be something where you do feel like you are on an island and you're having to do it all yourself. You're wearing a million hats. You don't necessarily feel like there's anybody in the world who's really able to support you, because you have to support your team, you have to support your business, you have to support your family. So being able to be in that space with other people from this industry who do understand, who are part of this same community, that really is, for me, probably the best part about events like this.
Yeah, we actually get to spend intimate time together and have conversations.
That's the rumor.
So PK,
and do the official craft beer professionals calendar shoot. We did that in Charleston. It's coming.
But maybe there's a lighthouse. Who knows?
Count me in.
So PK, I think you've been almost to the most CBP Connects. What's your advice for people for planning? I mean, it's a lot different than other events people go to. How to prepare? Any suggestions that you have from your experiences?
Yeah. I have been to most of the CBP Connects. And yeah, it's actually one of my favorite events because of just that intimacy level. It's the complete opposite of something like CBC, right? Where at CBC, there's well over 14,000, whatever the number was this year, attendees. You may just cross paths with somebody briefly for like 30 seconds at most in some of those cases. But at CBP Connects, you have anywhere from 150, 200, 250 people. And because you're with them for each individual night and you're doing this bit of a happy hour kind of vibe, what's great about that is that it ends up being a way to actually start knowing people more intimately. And with that, like I know people that I met at like CBP St. Louis that are talking about their family, their kids, what's happening in their lives, what's happening at their brewery, their story of how they started the brewery. And it becomes an element where it can be very nervous when you first get into one of these conferences, but just even at the welcome reception that we're going to be having becomes a really good way where you have name tags, you have the brewery's information, just go up to somebody and just say hi, right? And hey, I'm PK from Beer 30. I live in Miami, Florida, first time in Maine, right? Some basic questions that come into that become a really good way to just start breaking that ice. And the great thing about this is because CBP Connects is in a very linear fashion, it's not like you're trying to really set up a full schedule, right? It's not like you're trying to see, which room do I need to jump into? What's the talk that I'm attending? All the events are happening right there. Food is happening right there. All the vendors are right there. So it becomes an aspect where to get the most out of it, just follow along with the time limits that Andrew has put up and just really be present, right? Try and disconnect from your brewery if you can for that time frame. Wait until like after the day's events to check in or something like that. And as you go through that, those talks become really meaningful to just learn from. And you have the networking and you have visiting vendors. So we'll have a Beer 30 booth there just chatting with people about, hey, how does this really help out? And how does Beer 30 help your brewery? And so just becomes a really good way where if you just think about those 3 days, you can do everything, as opposed to like the feeling that you get at some of the bigger conferences where you're just like, there's no way I can get everything done because of double bookings. In this case, you really can spend a lot of time with the people, with the vendors, with the other brewery owners as well.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is truly to make it a welcoming place that's not intimidating at all. Other events, everybody has their role in this industry. There's so many other great events, but for this one, you're coming to build relationships. So often a trade show can be a little scary for some people because everybody has 30 seconds to sell you something. But everybody, you all included, when you get to have conversations, you're not in sales mode. You're here to get to know people and learn how you can best provide value, because that's what it's about.
Sales pitches don't work in this industry. Anybody who's been doing this, for me and PK have had this conversation at length, is, at the end of the day, almost anybody who's in the brewing industry could make a lot more money doing almost literally anything else. You're in this because you care that much about what you do. Maybe not even the beer necessarily, but you care that much about your business, care that much about the people, the community. So what people really want to see is that the people who are providing these allied services, people who are selling equipment, selling raw materials, that they understand that and that they care as much about your business as you do. Because this is a passion economy. We're trading sweat equity and we're trading years of our lives for something that we really do care about. So if someone's just standing there and they're wearing a suit and they're pitching you on something, that's never going to work. It's going to work a lot better when people realize that you really do want what's best for them, even if it's not what you happen to be selling. And if it winds up working out to where you have the right solution for them, that's nice. It's why people who are part of this community are that much better at actually being able to solve some of the problems and provide solutions for the people who are in this industry.
It's funny. That reminds me of a quick story of when I was brand new, trying to sell barrels to brewers. And I was in St. John swimming in a pool in St. John, the Virgin Islands, at this resort that we actually snuck into, by the way, to swim in their pool. And the owner of St. John Brewing walked by, or Virgin Islands Brewing Company walked by. And I wanted to get a meeting with him, and I just couldn't get a hold of him while I was there. So I literally climb out of the pool in nothing but a dripping wet bathing suit. And I walk up to him and I introduce myself. I give him my pitch and I kind of laugh and I say, by the way, sorry to hold a business meeting with me standing here in a dripping wet bathing suit. And he laughed back and pretty much said, that's okay. If you were in a suit and tie, I wouldn't have talked to you anyway. And he invited me to the brewery to buy me a beer if I had time, and we ended up catching up, and we're friends since. So you're very accurate in what you said.
Love it. Love hearing those stories.
That's why Heather and I are wearing tank tops to this, right? Because otherwise, that's where the whole tank tops idea came from. Hey, just embrace it. Wear what you want to wear in this industry in that aspect, and it's not buttoned up suit and tie at all. So that's where the red tank top idea always comes in.
So Heather, I'm curious. You haven't been to a CBP Connects before. What are your expectations and what are you hoping to get out of this?
Really, the relationship building is a huge thing I've found. I've been to the really big conferences and much to echo what a lot of you are saying, it's hard to get anything out of those. They're great. They're great to go. We found only it's really for the trade show. If you're looking for something specific, you don't have enough time to really build those relationships. So getting to connect with some people. I've been doing the local beer summits around here, and those are amazing. But just to have kind of some different people from around the country that I haven't had a chance to connect with, and reconnect with some of our peers here in the state. It's a very supportive group we have here in Maine, and as we've said, it's not an easy industry to be in or an easy time to be in the industry. So having those conversations in a safe space is huge, knowing that you're not alone. And, you can come in there any scale of your brewery and find somebody who's probably in the same scale as you or having the same problems, things like that, and actually have room to talk about those problems or concerns. So
you're going to have a lot of time to ask those questions and get to hear other people's feedback for sure.
Yeah.
So Andy, and I'd love to hear everybody's really thoughts on this. Working in the beer industry, it's about more than just cool to work at a brewery. You need to treat your team right. You need to pay them fairly. You need to provide a place that they really are proud to work. I'm curious for all of you, because you're all with companies, and Matt, you're almost like a solo entrepreneur these days. But, how often are you bringing your team together for some sort of activities to help bring people closer?
We do team building activity. We have an all-team meeting once a month with everybody. We do team building activities quarterly. We run on a version of Traction or EOS. I'm sure that many of you have heard of. We're an offshoot of that, but everyone knows of EOS. So we meet as a larger leadership team every week. We really just try to talk to people like literally at their level in their human moment. I mean, everyone has real life, but when they're with us at the brewery, I want them to be focused. That doesn't mean they're not carrying, daycare's clothes or kids sick or husband had an issue or whatever it is. Real life happens. You've got to be able to have an environment where people are comfortable and willing to be vulnerable with you as their boss, because that's what we are. And you as the boss need to realize that you're really in charge of their career and their opportunity and growth. So you obviously they're the one in the driver's seat, but you're really responsible to provide opportunity. And if you're not helping people elevate out of their position, then you're really failing in my opinion, you're failing the employee. So it's our job, if somebody's committed to work for us, to elevate them either into a position in the brewery or out of our company entirely into a whole new role. To me, a winning relationship with my employees is if they get a promotion to their dream job. Like that is a dream of mine. We have very clear ceilings here in our industry, and I obviously want great people to be around as long as they want, but I also want people to thrive in life. And there's more that they can get elsewhere out of the industry potentially, and I want to help support them get there. So yeah, it's kind of a long, convoluted answer, but really it's seeing people on the human level, seeing what their true long-term goals are, and then getting the most out of them while they're with me, pushing them to wherever that long-term goal for them is.
So PK, I imagine that resonates with you.
It's almost like you give a prep for your entire talk that you're going to be giving in Portland, Maine on leadership right there. Andy.
There you go. Yeah.
Pulkit, I know leadership's really important to you, and you do a lot of team building activities. You even do a summit. So talk to me about why you do those things.
Yeah, so on our end, every year, this year and last year, we've done a full all-company event. We're a fully remote company, so we have people right now in 11 states, 3 countries, just all over. And so it becomes one opportunity where all of our employees are invited to just get together. And so other than that, every month we do an all-company meeting or all-company all-hands, all via Zoom. But there's only so much that you can do in Zoom when it comes to actually building those connections, right? And so that summit week, it's so powerful because it allows us to come in person and get into person for brainstorming, getting into activities of actually knowing people. We usually hire an executive coach that then helps us with actual trust exercises, not like a backwards fall, but like getting.
I would bet you if you fell, PK, just so you know.
Yeah, getting more into like the actual breakdown of what it is that we focus in on as a team, that vulnerability aspect. How do you better communicate with one another? And so it's things like that. And then on top of that, we have business discussions, right? Like, hey, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What is that we want to focus in on when it comes to our company vision? And what are the changes that need to happen? So it was through that exercise this past year in January that we came up with an update to our company values that really hadn't been touched, in almost 4.5, 5 years, that now, include that whole aspect of trust and inclusivity and getting into the actual collaboration and innovation and transparency. So just these core values that tie in. And it's just so much easier to have some of these discussions in person, along with those dinners and lunches and happy hours where you're actually having that organic conversation. So it becomes a really good way. And I'm a huge proponent of, hey, let's have some in between that. That's once a year. Let's have some virtual happy hours, right? One of our employees, Alexa, has taken that on as a fun objective of hers. And we have Rando Chat and Culture Club and just things like that to keep building that element of, hey, we're not in person, but what can we do to actually get in together associated with it?
Yeah, and
love to hear the thoughts that you have.
Yeah, it surprises people somewhat because I am so known for most people online. Like that's really where most of my initial interactions with people come from. But there really isn't anything that quite replaces being able to get in front of people. And it's not that you can't build relationships digitally. I very much think that you can. I'm a Navy brat. That's been how I've kept friendships going for decades in some cases. But it's so much more efficient to be face-to-face. And, PK and me, we really built our friendship over espresso martinis on 6th Street in Austin. I mean, that's really where those things happen. And that's where I've been able to be so fortunate to meet and interact with so many other people around the industry. So being able to get everyone in one place in a relatively low pressure setting, to PK's point and Andy's point, place where we're all in one space where we aren't necessarily having to dash to and from and all over the place just to get to our next seminar. It goes an enormous way to creating real, authentic beneficial interactions. I mean, that's how real relationships get started.
And also a great way to take selfies and photos and just have more interactions with one another as well.
So many selfies.
So PK, who's going to step in and do the work for you? Because I feel like, if you and Aaron were having a contest this go round, I mean, it'd be an easy win for Mr. Gore.
Look, I don't, when it comes to that type of selfie competition, that's Aaron and I are just going head to head on that. I can't let anybody else from the team.
Yeah, there are no substitutions. It is me and PK or nobody.
I want to see you Photoshop Aaron's head in one of your family pictures from Europe. I think that'd be a good shot.
Please do.
That would have been a good surprise, Andrew. Now you just ruined the surprise.
Sorry, he won't remember. So Aaron, though, while CBP Connects, we officially kick off at 7 p.m. at Rising Tide on Monday night, we've got a little pre-conference going on for the first time. Tell us more about what's happening for the first time in Portland.
Yeah, 100%. So for anybody who's going to be showing up on day one from 2 to 5 p.m. at the normal venue, we're actually going to be doing a pre-conference hosted by Arryved, hosted by yours truly, actually. So that is going to consist of a panel featuring not only myself, but folks from Allagash, Maine Beer Company, and Flight Deck Brewing, which, Andrew, that last one's news to you because I just got it confirmed while we were on this call. We are going to be talking about summer taproom tips and I know. I can't stop. We're going to be talking about summer taproom tips and tricks. So just learning from people who have really run successful taproom programs, particularly in the Maine region, just to really drive home the immediacy of it. That way you can go and visit their space and really learn from them, even at the places that they've helped build. But talking about how you can really prepare your taproom as best as you can for summer, for peak season, and really be as effective as possible there. Then it'll go into a seminar again, hosted by this lovely face, where we'll be talking about using the data you already have available to maximize your taproom revenue. It's going to be completely platform agnostic. It's not a pitch for Arryved. This is going to be the kind of stuff that you probably have access to no matter what point of sale system, no matter what ERP system you already have, that you can turn around and use to be as effective as you can, both in production planning, in staffing, sales training, whatever you need to do. And then leading into a workshop, both for Arryved users as well as anybody who may just be interested in learning more, whether it's to see if we're the right option or maybe just disqualify us and say we're not the right option. But we'll be showing off all the products that we have available and working one-on-one with people. So we'd love to see folks. It's all going to be 2 to 5 p.m. If you've registered for CBP Connects, there is no additional registration. First 30 people in the door get a free shirt, and we are also going to be doing a free raffle for a Yeti cooler. So would love to be able to see folks, and we can go from there right to that welcome party, which I will also be at.
And Andy said it in the chat. We are not smashing a car at any point in Portland, Maine. I know that's become a fun thing we've done at Arryved events in the past. Unfortunately, I don't think the hotel allows it, but maybe next time. But everybody,
if you got a car you don't love that much, I mean, if it's a rental, we can make it happen.
Well, I am driving up to Portland, but my car is going to be nowhere near where you'll find it, Aaron.
I was going to say, I'm sure Matt from River Drive could get some barrels out there that you could all smash some barrels. And
yeah, Matt, can we put together a barrel smash? How do we make that happen?
I love it.
I don't think they'd be quite as fun as a car. Barrels are pretty rugged. So
not with that attitude, Matt. I believe in us.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I work full-time as a firefighter, paramedic as well, and I work in the city of South Portland, which technically is where the venue is located. And I just got an email on my other work email that we got some cars delivered to the fire station so we can practice cutting them up for extrication. So, hey, maybe one night after just enough beers, we have the Uber take a wrong turn and boom, there we go.
I was hoping you could pick us up in the fire truck, honestly.
We'll see what we can arrange for you.
Well, Matt, as we wind down, once again, I'm so excited to see you in person in Portland, Maine, very, very soon. What's one final tip you'd like to offer, whether it's simply CBP Connects focused, Maine focused? We're going to go around the room on this one. Just one thing you recommend for people to do to prepare to get the best out of their experience at CBP Connects.
We start with me?
Start with you. Start with Aaron first. We'll end with you.
Wait, who are we starting with?
We're starting with you, Matt.
All right. Sorry. I think you need to go into CBP Connects with an open mind and realize that this is not, and it's already been said, but this is not CBC where you can hide in the corner and try and drink from the fire hose. Pun totally intended. This is intimate. You gotta come out of your shell, and it's gonna totally be worth it. But there is a lot of information and a lot of connections that you can make. You just got to get out there and shake some hands and become friends with everybody.
And I appreciate you. I'm excited to have you moderate the panel and adding the distillery to your brewery, which we really didn't dive into today, but it's going to be a great conversation that's going to happen when we're live.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Now, Heather, this is your first CBP Connect, so you can't give experience from feedback from experience, but you've been in Maine, you say a decade?
Yeah, just about a decade here. So
what's the weather going to be like? I mean, it's just a basic question, but how do we prepare?
As of now, we're really warm like the rest of New England. And I think, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Usually we're a little on the chilly side, but hey, it's a nice time of year for us. So there's only about 3 months that we see the sun, and you're going to be here for it. So that's good. Really good weather. My one thing not to forget, because I always forget them, is your business cards, or however you want people to get in contact with you after, because you're building these relationships, and then somehow at the end you're like, how do we stay in touch? And a lot of times we're just sharing phone numbers at that point because it is such an intimate type event. But don't be like me and forget stickers and business cards and things to these things, because I always do. Watch, I will.
Andy, how about you? Any thoughts on preparing or things you're looking forward to?
Similar to what Matt said, I'm just planning to come with a really open mind, coming to be willing to be a little bit vulnerable, dig in a little bit on the business side of things, but really just build relationships, meet people, build the network that a month or 2 or 3 from now I can lean back and say, I better text that Aaron guy, or I better text this PK guy. I got a question or two. But yeah, I'm going with just the intention to build connections, build a network, and learn.
No, we're excited to have you join us for your first.
Thank you.
No, PK, one final tip. I know we've talked about a lot of things regarding CBP Connects, but if people could prepare one way for the event that we haven't discussed already, any final words of wisdom?
Yeah, one of my favorite ones would be really participate in the icebreakers and actual activities that happen. So one of the really cool things about CBP Connects is that there's a lot more interactive sessions that Andrew has set up. And so the first year, the icebreaker was build a brewery with a bunch of friends. And
I think that might have been my favorite, honestly.
Yeah, build a brewery, where he gave blocks and like what was it, Lego blocks and Sharpies and paper, and like coming up with like a zoo themed brewery or destination brewery, stuff like that. And you're just chatting and meeting with other brewery owners. And then the one after that last year was getting into like a brewery jingle that you had to come up with. And so that was just like a really fun, unique thing. And it's definitely quote unquote weird and not thinking about that when you're like, I'm at a brewery conference. But these are really fun icebreakers, right? And it gets you to just start participating, meeting people that are in your group, etc. And you just got to be very open-minded and happy about like, hey, cool, this is part of the experience. Like, even if this seems a little silly, be the one that goes up for your team to present, right? Like, that's such a great way to get in front of people and just be like, hey, we're going to do this thing. And the more you're actively participating, the more you're going to get returns out of an event that you're definitely making the investment to go in, right? Everybody there is investing a couple $100 to $1,000, $2,000 in hotels, airfares, etc. So get the most out of it. That's like my mentality, and just actively participate as much as you can.
I know even me personally, I've been at conferences before where I don't know anyone. You almost get stuck in a corner sometimes. It's hard to break into circles. But at CBP Connects, I think people really come to meet strangers. And I say that a lot, but they truly do. And once you break out of your shell and start meeting people from across the country, you're going to have an awesome experience. And PK, don't get mad at me when I give one more tip. After one of the after parties one time, and was it St. Louis, Pulkit? My recommendation is, I'll get cut to the chase. Make sure you bring a shirt that has sleeves, because not all places that you may visit allow you in if you don't.
Yes, I was not allowed into a venue in St. Louis because I had a Beer 30 tank top on, and the bouncer was not okay with men having tank tops, but other people in the group that were not men who had tank tops on were allowed, and that was a whole other side conversation. But anyways, yes, to Andrew's point, some venues, then maybe Portland, Maine is not like that. Heather and Matt will be able to tell us, but yes, that did happen in St. Louis, of not being allowed into a bar because I had a tank top.
Well, you're going to have an amazing time in Europe, so you're not going to have to worry about it. We're excited to see your team there. I know.
Heather, do we have any restrictions, Heather, on tank tops or things like that in Portland?
Yeah, I was going to say, A lot of Maine, what I've noticed is you can go to a really fancy restaurant and you will find people in jeans and you will find people in full-on tuxes. There definitely are restaurants that will turn you away, but I don't have the idea that any of us are going to end up at those.
There you go.
And Heather, because we're back on you for a sec, you and Matt have mentioned Lobster a lot. Is there one place you'd recommend as the go-to that we have to try while we're there?
Probably High Roller.
I mean, my typical spiel is no, because it's all the same thing. You're just paying different prices. It's all the same thing. It's all comes out of the same body of water. It probably just came out of there this morning or yesterday. You can go to the local grocery store, which is Hannaford, buy a lobster for pretty cheap. They'll even steam it there for you, and you're going to be paying a couple dollars a pound there. Or you can go to some fancy place and buy a lobster roll for $30. Whatever really. She mentioned High Roller. That is a good place. A little on the pricey side, but you're not going to leave there upset. But really, anywhere you are, it's all the same stuff from the same place. So so don't worry about it.
Can't wait. Now, Aaron, take us home. Any final words?
Yes, on the subject of lobster, I married a masshole, so I'm very also well versed in lobster. So if you're getting a lobster roll, skip the damn mayo, just lemon. Evelyn's in Tiverton, Rhode Island is the best lobster roll, not in Maine, but I know I'm going to catch flack for that, so I'll just die on that hill. And if you really want to spend some money, get a baked stuffed lobster, and if you have no idea what that is, don't even Google it. Just trust me, you will have absolutely zero regrets. Outside of that, I'll echo what everyone else said. You're going to get exactly out of this what you put into it. Don't just circle up with the people you already know, and don't just huddle in the corner, because a lot of these people, yes, there will be experts in a wide variety of topics there, but for a lot of the folks that are going to be there are things you're going to be the expert for them in. So ask questions. There's going to be a lot of people asking questions that might seem remedial to you, and you're going to ask a lot of questions that are going to seem remedial to them. And that's the beauty of this, not to its detriment. So participate, come with an open mind, and for God's sake, make sure that you are bringing aspirin and you are having at least as much water as beer, because if you've never done one of these before, you start drinking at like 9 a.m. and it just doesn't stop. You will have regrets if you're not like evening that out somehow. I'm speaking from experience.
So we are going to have plenty of beer. We're going to have plenty of water. We're going to have plenty of coffee, lunch both days, beers 3 nights. You got a trade show, tons of educational sessions. You'll meet friends from breweries that have just opened out of their neighborhood brewery, to breweries that have been doing it 30 years and the biggest one in the region. So everybody's there for the same reasons. I can't wait to see you all. Aaron, really appreciate you and Arryved. So excited for this year in Portland. PK, appreciate you and the team at Beer 30. Have a great vacation. I am a little jealous. We'll chat more about that later. Andy, so excited to get to actually spend some time together. And Heather, we're excited to come to your beautiful state, and I can't wait to meet you in person. So see everybody soon.
Cheers. Have a good one, everyone.